Yo, YouTube, what is going on? AJ here, back at it again with another video. And in today's video, guys, we have something a little bit interesting to talk about. Now, normally I'm never on this page, and some of you may recognize this page. Some of you guys may be new to this page, and yes, this is Pride Wins little tier list page, but it's more so less to do with the tier list. We're going to just be using it as sort of an example for what we want to talk about currently, which is going to be the current topic is, should free-to-play players, veteran players, and even new players, and we'll talk about why new players matter the most, potentially worry about power creep. New players more so less, because you guys are just getting into the game. You guys are wondering what units you should pull, what's your best options and stuff like that. So right now you're at kind of like the perfect time where you don't have to worry about too much. Veteran players and free to play who have been playing since day one now are gonna start to feel like, oh, we get into this gacha game sort of, not really dilemma, guys, but it is the unfortunate reality of gacha games where characters tend to get to that level of where they're power crept, and then older units just don't become as useful. But so far with Wuthering Waves, I'm clearly just happy to see that that's not the case right now. However, that we're going to talk about if that may be coming sooner than later. But first and foremost, if you like the content on the channel, make sure you leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you guys so much for the support. We're trying to be one of the top gacha creators in the space. Thank you guys for keeping the lights on this channel. Without further ado, guys, let's get into that video. So one of the things I want to talk about while we're on Pride Win, right, guys, is more so just looking at all the characters and where, quote unquote, Pride Win has them. We're not going to really critique each one or anything like that, but you guys kind of see the spectrum, you know what I mean? You see Crazy Gooner Girl, you see Carlotta, you see Jincy, the three, you know, tier 0. Mine was Apex, the pinnacle of these characters, and then we've seen Sanhua get a rise. Jeja, I mean, since day one we've talked about this character, how she's been just busted and broken. One of the things though I want to focus on are the DPS and the supports really quick. Especially I want to talk about the super more so supportive characters rather than hybrids. So the thing with the DPS and the supports, guys, is DPS, they come out at a rapid rate. In fact, if you look at the DPS, right, especially the limited 5 stars, you guys already see from T0 to tier 0.5 in whatever Pride Win has it, right? You already see 5 limited 5-star units, 1 standard. And what's funny about this is that Gian and Encore are basically some of our oldest day one units, actually, and they're still holding on strong. But for how long is that going to be the case? You have to wonder, because now we're getting to a point right now, guys, in the game where Kuro Games themselves has to make a decision on something. Now, one of the things I thought Kuro Games was going to do is release more hybrid sub DPS characters. I get that we have sort of Rosia that's come out, but Rosia kind of fills in this niche for Gooner Girl, you know what I mean? And it's just the fact of that I was hoping for more Yinlin and Jeja, and honestly I think Yinlin should be up here, to be honest, than T's 0.5. but I was kind of hoping that Wuthering Waves would go down the route of building the next Jeja, giving us the next Yinlin, giving us more of these overpowered sub DPSs where they put out not only great damage or very good damage, not DPS level, guys, obviously, but very good damage and buffing our all-around units. However, we don't officially know what Kuro Games and Wuthering Waves is going to officially do unless you really look ahead of time. But even then, you still don't know. Like, we don't know, guys, 7 characters down the line or anything like that. You know what I mean? We're gonna have to wait and see what they do. Now, they filled in a niche with Carlotta, with Wuthering Waves, with being a limited gun DPS. We didn't have a limited gun DPS, so this was kind of like the exception of like, okay, we got a powerful unit, she stands toe-to-toe with these characters, and she's a gun user, cool. But they still haven't, guys, provided a shielder for us. Like, we have healers, we don't have a pure shield character in any way, you know what I mean? We still are probably going to get another broad blade DPS maybe in the future. Like I said, the sub DPS class, guys, is missing like multiple elements like fusion and all this other stuff from for the limited 5-star characters. And when you start looking down at these characters, right, once upon a time, Spectral Rover was not tier 3 once upon a time. You know what I mean? Yan Wu was not tier 3 for these guys once upon a time. But you guys can already see that power creep is just coming in. Calcharo was the #1 prime example of this, but there's so much unfortunate circumstances that happen with Calcharo. Obviously, Jan Shin, she's starting to just slowly fall off, but it's just all these characters that you kind of sort of adore. And mind you, one thing I want to say is, if you made it this deep into the video, is the fact that it is 100%, you can say also, if you want to say skill issue too. I do understand that there are people who like to play some of these older characters, especially with, you know, crazier mechanics with cancels and stuff like Calcharo, and make them work in the current stage and stuff like that, guys. The ultimate reality is, while somebody's putting in double and triple amount of the work, there's always going to be that next new character that comes out that's just going to do less, you know what I mean? Like, not really do less, they could have more skills or new things, or it's going to hit harder and feel, you know, much more enjoyable to play. Now, at the current moment, why I believe power creep is potentially Kuro Games, it could happen. You guys got to look out for it and be careful now. Like, that's the message. Be careful with who you're pulling on, guys. Is that there's probably going to be multiple DPSs around the corner with the way Kuro did, you know, 1.0 to 1.4, or they could go down the route of giving us multiple sub DPSs. And that's the tricky thing that we don't know just yet, because if Kuro gives us more supportive units, let's say they give us shielders and stuff like that, and just these hybrid characters, right, then we'd be in a better spot. The only character that could really get power crept off from shielders and stuff like that would be your Varinas and your Baijas. Even though Baija got a buff with sort of the new relic set that has come out, the ultimate fact of the reality is, because we don't have a limited 5-star shielder, these two characters right now are where they're at. But come that time when that character does release, you have Varina go down to 0.5, and you have this character probably not even be tier 1, goes down to tier 1.5 for them. And that's just the reality of how these games work, and we are set, you know what I mean, for these characters to release. I mean, we're towards the back end of, or not even the back end, but the middle of the arena seed of 5 characters that were shown. You know what I mean? That were all 5 stars. Like, we have Phoebe and Brant coming out, and then after that is pretty much guaranteeing Zanny from what they've shown so far. So that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, you have to be careful now on who you're pulling in the future, because if you just keep going DPS, 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 you miss out on a crucial element or a crucial character over here. Or if you're going for a rerun, right? Like, let's say tomorrow, I don't know, they release the Gunner Girl. You don't have Gunner Girl, right? But then they release another monster character that's a DPS. If you waste your pulls on Gunner Girl, you're not going to get that next big character. So my thoughts right now, though, with power creep, to bundle it, and it's kind of like a PSA and just kind of like a talking point and conversation with the community, is that just be careful and be aware of when and the timing you're pulling units. If there's a rerun happening, look at the current banner and be like, okay, is a rerun worth it, or is the current banner character worth it? Which one is giving me more value? And then do I have to pull premium units to then make this other character work? You know what I mean? Like, this older character versus this new character who maybe I could throw in a 4-star and this works or something like that. But right now, even Carlotta, to get the max amount of potential, you do need Zhezha. You can still use Carlotta without Zhezha, but you know, you do need Zhezha. But that's it for this video. I just kind of wanted to give a heads up to the community, to the Wuthering Waves community, to my community, right, that potentially there could be power creep on the way. But with Kuro Games, I do trust their judgment and how they're releasing characters. So hopefully it's not at a weird rate that HSR has gone into right now. That's it for this video. Please leave a like, comment, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for the support. I love y'all, and I'll talk to y'all next time. Peace.